Forgot to hit that. So we are recording today's meeting. So if there is someone from your organization that wasn't able to make it, we will be sharing out a link to this meeting afterwards. So please feel free to share with your network or employees or staff. With us in the room, we also have some partners from the Downtown Boise Association. So we have Heather Lyle and Blair Wilson. We also have Erin Johansson from ACHD. And then of course, up here with me is the McIlvaine team. So we hired McIlvaine Construction as our construction manager and general contractor in May of 2021. And we've been working closely with them during the design of the project. And their expertise will be crucial and has been crucial as we gear up for the start of construction at the end of May. So on the McIlvaine team, we have Tyler Resnick, who's the Director of Industrial Construction, and Alex Dosadel, who's the project manager for us on this. So they might sound familiar. I don't know, show of hands, have you guys heard from McIlvaine during their door knock, reach out and filled out a questionnaire for business access? Yes, okay, excellent. If you haven't had a chance to do that, we do have the business questionnaire here. So that's going to be critical to their work to ensure that we maintain business access, deliveries, operations. That information really informs how they set up the construction staging and processes. So McIlvaine has done some of that initial outreach to hear what your needs are, and we're here to continue that conversation today. And just want to say that we recognize that, you know, cafes and patios create the livelihood for our downtown businesses, and that on-street parking is also super important and crucial to your business. We also understand that most downtown deliveries happen between 6 and 10 a.m. And recognize that each of your businesses have unique needs. So that's the whole point of this outreach and the questionnaire. So we do want to try and mitigate impacts to your business and work together to keep your doors open throughout the construction process. So a couple housekeeping things before Amy dives into the project background and what to expect. Wanted to thank Oliver Russell and Russ Stoddard for allowing us to use this space. There's coffee and water available for you guys, and then the bathrooms are right around the corner. Again, we're recording, so we'll send this link out afterwards. And then if you hadn't had a chance to sign in, please do so before you guys leave. We also have the flyers there that I think most of you were able to pick up. Shows a little bit of background, project phasing and timelines, as well as some FAQs and contact information. Take as many as you want if you'd like to hang that up in a break room or set it out for employees. We'll also share a digital link so you can disperse that as you need. I think that's it. I think kick it over to Amy now.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. And again, welcome everyone. As Jordan mentioned, I am Amy Thimble, CCDC's project manager on this project. We're going to start out with some project background, then go into the collection of projects that make up this consolidated effort and explain a little bit why each of them are happening. Then McIlvaine will go into project phasing and talk about where I put my hands, talk about the time frame and the scope of work that matters most to you guys. We'll let you know what to expect from us as far as communication and support during construction, where you'll be able to find information, and who to call if there are any issues or problems that come up and need to be addressed. And lastly, there'll be time at the end to take any questions that you all have. All right, so years of planning and coordination have gone into this rebuild 11th Street blocks. Much of the planning was done by our partner agencies, ACHD, the City of Boise, and now CCDC is here to fulfill the community's expressed desire for an 11th Street that's easier and more convenient for all users. So it's whether you're coming down to access restaurants, coming downtown for entertainment, commuting to work, or enjoying the city's many open spaces. The project will complete necessary and anticipated roadway reconstruction and replace an underground Boise City Canal structure on behalf of ACHD and the Boise City Canal District. It will also make long envisioned bicycle improvements with an all ages, all abilities protected bikeway that runs from State Street to River Street and improve streetscapes where needed to support economic vitality and just to improve people's walkability of downtown. For nearly a decade, the City of Boise and ACHD and CCDC have coordinated on downtown Boise transportation and streetscape improvements. This partnership enables a single contractor such as McElwain to come in and work on a blend of interagency projects, which reduces construction costs and impact to the community. Rebuild 11th Street is this next effort. 47% of the total project is originating from ACHD, and then another 53% is coming from CCDC. We are also working closely with Suez. They have a new name now, but we're sticking with Suez for this presentation, so that they can replace old water lines on 11th Street while the road work is happening. And also with Idaho Power to underground overhead utilities along 11th. So we have folks from Downtown Boise Association here today. We work closely with the DBA during all of our construction projects downtown. They help us get the word out and also make sure that we're providing the necessary support to impacted businesses. We'll hear a little bit more from Heather at the DBA a little later. All right, so now let's dive into the collection of projects that make up Rebuild 11th Street. Work will be focused on 11th Street between State Street and River Street to the south, and will include the following projects. So we have utility upgrades, like I mentioned, being delivered on behalf of City of Boise, ACHD, and in coordination with Idaho Power and Suez. There is also road reconstruction that ACHD requested we do on their behalf. Boise City Canal bridge replacement, again, work ACHD requested that we do as part of this project. And then we have the downtown portion of the 11th Street Bikeway, which is a result of years of planning between ACHD, the City of Boise, and CCDC. Lastly, the 11th Street streetscape enhancements. So that's a CCDC initiative to improve sidewalks and provide additional amenities. By taking a coordinated approach to what would have been multiple projects, Rebuild 11th Street reduces disruption to downtown daily life and minimizes delays. So the first aspect of Rebuild 11th Street that we'll discuss are utility upgrades. I don't know how many of you know, but the city actually has a fiber optic network underground that reduces broadband costs and increases network speeds. This project will add some critical linkages to that network on behalf of the City of Boise. Also, you might not know, but CCDC in the past has spent a lot of money doing utility undergrounding in downtown Boise. So taking the overhead utilities and moving them underground. Besides the obvious aesthetics, undergrounding utilities helps facilitate future redevelopment, reduces traffic impacts. So there's not crews doing overhead utility work and tying up the street. It also eliminates unsightly pruning of street trees. You know, nobody's there to top the street trees when they start to get close to those power lines. This project will replace outdated stormwater catch basins for ACHD and install Silvacells, which is a suspended pavement system that helps with tree health and stormwater management. So currently, stormwater runoff on 11th gets collected into catch basins and then conveyed directly into the Boise River, or if it's north of Main Street, it goes into the canal system there. In addition, the addition of street trees and Silvacells, it's a natural and effective way to manage stormwater. So the tree roots and the soil help treat the runoff and allows the water a chance to infiltrate down to groundwater instead of going right to the river. We'll be working with Suez so they can replace old water lines and install a new water main down 11th Street between State Street and River. And then, yeah, so that doing all this stuff at one time means less impacts for businesses and the public. Lastly, we're working with ACHD to do traffic signal upgrades along 11th at Myrtle, Front, Grove, and Jefferson. Rebuild 11th Street will be replacing the aging roadway on behalf of ACHD for safer, smoother, and more comfortable travel for those that use 11th. We've seen over the last couple of years, ACHD has been making a lot of infrastructure improvements downtown. Main Street was redone, Idaho Street was redone, and now it's 11th Street's turn to be the next one on the list to see those improvements. During early coordination with ACHD, they asked CCDC to do this work on their behalf. 11th Street between State Street and Grove will be reconstructed with concrete paving, while the remaining sections will see removal and replacement of asphalt. The section between Front and Myrtle has been recently repaved, So there won't be any road reconstruction there, just some minor patch back around the bike medians there. You might have noticed that ACHD is starting to do more concrete paving. Maybe you're wondering why. Well, one of the big benefits is that concrete pavement greatly reduces future maintenance. They don't have to come back and do chip sealing or micro sealing. This means less road maintenance work and less disruptions in the future for your business. Concrete paving also has a less thick roadway section, so that can actually reduce the impact to existing utilities that might be shallow in the roadway. Another benefit is that concrete has a lighter color, so it negates some of that heat island effect that you get in urban areas. Concrete reflects more heat, while asphalt absorbs more heat, so it makes for a cooler downtown. The third aspect of Rebuild 11th Street is the Boise City Canal Bridge replacement. So this is kind of cool because the canal just started to flow water again, and maybe you'll learn something cool about canals like I did when I started to research. But in Boise, irrigation water is diverted from the Boise River and distributed via large irrigation canals and then smaller irrigation laterals to local neighborhoods throughout the city. The Boise City Canal is one of 5 canal districts in Boise. And it's actually been an integral part of the growth of Boise over the past century, really. When the Boise City Canal was first incorporated in 1869, there was only 6 miles of ditch and about 8 miles of laterals. Over the last 150 years, the system has steadily grown, and now we have 12 miles of canal and 20 miles of laterals. Most people don't even realize that there's a canal flowing under downtown. It disappears at C.W. Moore Park, and then you don't really see it again in any meaningful way until Ada and 19th. As Boise grew, the canal was covered in the downtown area starting in 1950-ish for both safety reasons and to enable more land use. So the canal still runs underground through downtown Boise today, but its uses have really continued to evolve along with the city. Particularly in the north end. So the canal has moved from being irrigation and agricultural focused to now including some urban and suburban uses. So providing water for golf courses, parks, schools, subdivisions, and of course, houses throughout the neighborhoods of Boise. Russ, you use it for your family's farm on your property. So it's just kind of cool facts that I learned and thought we'd share. So you're like wondering, what does this all have to do with 11th Street? Well, the image on this slide shows a section of canal structure across Main Street that was replaced by ACHD in 2013. In 2018, ACHD identified the structure just north of this as needing to be replaced. This work was originally going to be done as part of ACHD's bridge maintenance program, but with us coming in and doing concrete paving, it made sense to do it as part of this Rebuild 11th Street effort. There is a limited window of work for this work to be performed. It has to be done during non-irrigation months when the canal isn't flowing. But replacing this structure will ensure that irrigation water continues to flow throughout the neighborhoods of Boise. So this aspect of the project should look a little familiar to you who participated in the concept design of the 11th Street Bikeway. 11th Street is an essential link in the citywide bicycle network and provides a direct ridge-to-river route between Camelback Park and the Boise River Greenbelt. The 11th Street North-South connection was first identified in the 2016 North Boise Neighborhood Pedestrian and Bicycle Plan. And then again, in ACHD's 2018 Roadways to Bicycles Master Plan update. The original ACHD 11th Street Bikeway concept extended from River Street to Heron Street, but the portion of the bikeway south of State Street was eliminated since it was deemed to meet ACHD's bicycle facility guidelines. When the ACHD Commission adopted this concept study in 2019, the public expressed their desire that they didn't think the conventional painted bike lanes met their needs, and they asked for bike facilities with greater protection than what we are currently seeing downtown on 11th Street. So ACHD Commission directed staff, city, CCDC, ITD, ACHD's Bicycle Advisory Committee to all work together and develop a low-stress bikeway concept design for this section of 11th Street. So in 2020, CCDC went out and hired Kittleson and Associates to complete a concept design for the 11th Street Bikeway. During our conversations with businesses and property owners, we heard over and over how much they valued on-street parking. We listened. We designed a street that will work for all modes of travel. Vehicles will be able to travel this corridor safely, bikes will have a dedicated protected bike lane, and pedestrians will have accessible sidewalks, all while maintaining on-street parking in front of businesses and space for outdoor cafes to operate on the sidewalk. This project will install raised bike lane on both sides of the street, as well as treatments that will improve safety and comfort at intersections. Once complete, cyclists of all ages and abilities will feel safe riding along 11th Street, and businesses will see the benefit of people venturing off the Greenbelt to the 11th Street Bikeway. Your employees and future employees will love the comfort and convenience of their bike commute. And I know a lot of new office buildings, they'll be touting the adjacency to the 11th Street Bikeway as an attractor during lease up. The 10 blocks of this downtown portion of 11th Street Bikeway will be installed by this project, but it's going to merge with ACHD's Bikeway construction to the north, which is slated to start end of April. And it'll create this single biking corridor from Camelback Park to the Boise River Greenbelt. So the 11th Street Streetscape Enhancements Project is a CCDC-led initiative that was first identified back in 2019. There are portions of the sidewalk that were previously enhanced, such as in front of Record Exchange, Neurolux. I think those were built in 2016. The sidewalks in front of the Alwadi Tavern were built in 2014. And then streetscapes between Front and Myrtle were done in 2017, 2018. Those sections will remain in place. Our efforts will be focused on connecting the missing links of sidewalk that are still in need of improvements. Additional trees will be planted in the Silva cells, which will enhance Boise's urban tree canopy and keep downtown cooler in the summer months. Silva cells give street tree roots room to expand and make for healthier street trees and a more beautiful streetscape. We'll be improving street lighting, enhancing pedestrian safety at crosswalks. Additional street amenities will be installed, such as bike racks, planters, trash receptacles. But when you put all these enhancements together, you get an attractive and inviting neighborhood that will help spur local economic activity. So those are the project elements. Now I'm going to let Alex with McElwain explain how the project will be constructed.
Hi, my name is Alex. So this project, as Amy mentioned, extends from River Street to State Street. It's not really reasonable to take that entire project all at once, so we strategically broke it up into phases, all the businesses in mind, private developments. This phase specifically we're focusing on today is 1B. That's Front Street to Idaho Street. So the overall duration there is May 23rd, 2022, our start date, to March 15th. If you go on the next slide. So 1B, where we'll start, is Front Street to Main Street. And this includes new paving and new streetscapes. There's also some utility improvements in the section. That's going to be May 23rd to December 15th. Next phase in 1B, or sub-phase within 1B, is Main Street to Idaho Street. So this is November 11th to March 15th. This also includes the canal replacement that Amy had mentioned. So we put a lot of thought into how we were going to sub-phase within these phases. Really, we're focusing on each business front or property front before we move on to the next one. So we can get the streetscapes in place and open up your businesses. We understand that's your livelihood, so we want to minimize any disruption that we can. During that period, we'll be maintaining an access in front of the storefronts, which will be compacted gravel walkway, ADA compliant, so everybody has a fair shot getting inside the business. Aside from that, we're carefully coordinating demolition also with ACHD and other private development and construction projects that are going on this phase. We'll be communicating often with all of you. I encourage you to reach out to us, fill out the questionnaire. so we can best support your needs during that period. You'll probably be hearing more from us in the coming weeks, at least 2 weeks before we enter construction and then throughout the project. I think this is a great project. It's going to draw a lot of people to this area, linking the Greenbelt to the north end. It's pretty excited and proud to be a part of it. And then we'll transition over to Jordan and she'll detail how we're going to be communicating through the project.
Yeah, so we know construction can be tiring and frustrating, and for those of you guys on the footprint, but also your customers and employees and people traveling through downtown. And so, as we've all mentioned, we want to be excellent partners with all of you, and we want to support your businesses and your staff and your customers any way we can. So, of course, McIlvaine and Amy and I are always here to listen. We're here to creatively brainstorm things with you if you identify needs that aren't being met or have concerns. We're here to help and come up with solutions. So speaking broadly first about how we're going to communicate to the public, we will always have clear signage. So with each of the phases and then sub-phases, you can count on very clear detour maps for pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicle traffic. That information will also be mirrored on our project website as well as within our weekly emails. On the back of that flyer, there is a QR code. You guys, for our weekly emails, you guys should already be, you're here, so you're already on the stakeholder email list, and we'll receive those weekly updates. But if you have additional staff or folks that you think would benefit from receiving that information, they can sign up on the project website. There's a URL on the back, or using that QR code. Additionally, we will be pushing out social media updates, and working with local events, Boise schools, and the neighborhood associations as phasing progresses, to make sure that they have as much lead up time as possible, so they understand what the detours will look like. And then additionally, working with those project partners, so City of Boise, Ada County Highway District, and then the DVA to further amplify that message, and make sure we're reaching as many folks as possible. And can I not see Heather? She's hiding. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Do you want to say a couple things about the DVA and how we'll be working together?
Sure. Hi. I'm Heather with the DVA. I know some of you in the room. I probably should know all of you in the room. You are either members of the DVA just based on where your business is, or you're associate members if your business is south of Myrtle. So if I haven't made a connection with you, please talk to me afterwards. I'd love to meet you. I have some business cards here. And as Jordan and Amy mentioned, we are just another resource for you. My coworker Blair is sitting back here, and he's our communications manager. I'm the business relations manager, and what we do really is on projects like this is answer questions. Sometimes we gather logos. We will put things in our newsletter about construction updates that we send out weekly. So if you're not getting those, you want to connect with us and get on that email list. Because I know that we all don't open every email we get. So if you're not opening the ones from CCDC, you'll open ours, or vice versa. And really, we're just here to serve as another resource. I'm really excited about this project, even though I know it's going to impact the businesses. But we all know there are certain parts of downtown that are always active. And this just provides an opportunity for this side of town to be a little more active with the different modes of transportation and accessibility. And so I think once we get through it, it will be fantastic for our town. If anybody has any questions, feel free to
Thank you. Yeah, so great segue, looking directly at how we're going to support and communicate with you guys during construction. It is the most important for us to maintain easy access to your front doors, and minimize those impacts to your patios and then the customers inside your businesses. So McIlvaine mentioned they'll be visiting each of you with each change in phasing to give you updates on what to expect next, hear any concerns you guys might have, or answer any questions. As Heather mentioned, helping us with logos, we will be having clear signage with access points and business logos on the signs, pointing people in the right direction of how to access your businesses, as well as those safety construction barriers, just to ensure safety and accessibility to your businesses. We, like I keep mentioning, we're here to come up with creative solutions. So the flyer is just an example of one way that we can provide collateral. If you guys, for example, have a newsletter that goes out to your customers and you want access to detour maps or graphics to show people where they can park or where they can go to be able to access the business, happy to provide any collateral that you guys might need or benefit from. Let's see. Yep. So again, we can create additional materials to show access for employees, customer parking, loading and unloading. Yeah, we just want to be that support for you guys as we go through construction. So with that.
And our contact information, McElvain Superintendent Brian Burford broke his hip, so he's not here today. But Alex's information is up there. My information's up there. I got a stack of business cards along with Alex's. Take them. We're here to help. Our phones are open, our email inbox is open. We want to hear issues. You guys are there all the time on the street in front of your business. So if there's something that's not right, if signs have been moved, barricades have been moved, people do that as they come out of bars in the middle of the night, and we're just not there to see it. So let us know right away if there's something that needs to be corrected. As Jordan mentioned, we're here to keep your businesses open through construction and work with you to minimize impacts. I think now would be a good time to open it up to questions from you guys. I know, it's a lot of information. Yes.
Yeah, for the record change, are there detailed renderings of each section of each phase on the website?
We do not have detailed renderings of each section. There's like a typical rendering, and we're planning on putting together a project video that's actually going to walk you through block by block improvements. It's just not ready yet. So that will be one of the resources we'll be showing. We'll also be doing, maybe I'll let Jordan share about the other inspirational video.
Yeah, so it's easy to, like I said, like construction, orange traffic cones can get exhausting, right? And so we will do a video that walks you step by step through the project phasing and what to expect and the various collection of projects along 11th Street, but also a little more inspirational video of what this means to the community and what the end result will be. Hopefully a little tonic for the orange construction cones over the next 2 years. So, yeah.
I couldn't tell from the graphic, there are parking spots in front of Merrilux and the record exchange still. And the,
Correct, yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yes.
Question. First off, thank you. This is great. We're excited for this to be done. So specifically for the land across the street where development hasn't happened yet, how do we work with, you're putting in these beautiful streetscapes, if we're going to tear them up here? So how do we figure that out?
We won't let that happen. So those are definitely conversations that your team and our team are going to have on what makes sense timing wise. What are those deadlines to decide who's doing those streetscapes and like.
So there is, okay, so there could be a possibility where some of that's held off.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then second question, especially for entrances into parking lots like across the street, is the intent to maintain traffic on 11th the entire time, or will there be times where 11th is shut down? Yeah, I've got to believe it will be. Okay. So you'll give us information on when that'll happen, especially in parking lots or business entrances or else.
Yeah.
Great.
And I'm Erin from ACHD. We'll work together with the CDC to make sure we get traffic advisories out too. And push those out so that it can be shut down.
Great.
Looking at time frames on the shutdowns.
Well, within the phasing, we got front to main is May to November, or front to main, and then front to main streetscapes, September to December. That's a sub phase on the outer ends here, that's your development. Then main Idaho is November to March. Which section are you?
Ki 75, so
Okay.
we're the little red dot there.
You're November to March, and we'll have barricades blocking off culvert replacements. You still have access. The roadway will be shut down for that period because we can't let anybody drive through the culvert replacement.
So I would say the canal infrastructure is probably a little more timely than some of the other.
Yeah, and now we're constrained in November with the irrigation outage. We have to wait for that period and also start as soon as the irrigation begins.
But that sidewalk in front of Cali 75 is
That's
staying
accessible,
open.
yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, because we just have like a tremendous amount of, with our food truck, our kitchen services, as well as catering, so.
Yeah,
You're already dealing with the, project that's going in the alley, and that's a constant struggle right now.
We're gonna try and maintain access to that alley
Yes.
the longest amount of time possible. We can do the culvert work while that alley is still open. But it's obviously just a right out onto 11th Street. You can't come in from Main. While the culvert's out.
Yeah, some of the guys on that project have voiced me some interesting opinions. They said that they're being nice by letting anybody get in the alley because they pay for a permit to shut down the whole alleyway.
No, we understand that's essential for your deliveries, and if you got some time after this, I'd love to chat with you.
And for retail businesses too, if you guys want to work out a contractor specialty, we do that. Like, I'd be happy to advertise getting all our workforce over to your window for lunchtime too.
Happy hours.
I'm not seeing it on there, but what's the effect gonna be on like the side streets? So like Grove, Main, Idaho, like I'm thinking about parking and accessibility. Are people starting to be able to like drive, and park on that backside? It's like, I know obviously 11th is gonna be closed, but is that gonna impact the blocks on the backside? Does that make sense?
You should still be able to park on the road, basically extending outwards from the center of the intersection. You'll have the road closure signs.
Right.
Beyond that, there should be able to park on the road and adjacent streets.
Increased traffic, obviously, because people won't be using 11, so they'll be coming down those side streets more as well.
Okay.
I have a question. Is there any specific involvement, like, is Idaho Department of Transportation have to be involved with Front Street? Our business is right on the corner here. We have a lot of issues. I've seen probably 6 pretty bad accidents there. I'm wondering if there's gonna be any kind of improvement, like with the truncated walkways or anything like that for the crossing Front Street, because it's pretty sketchy.
Harry.
Yeah, we've definitely coordinated the design with ITD. There is ramp improvements at front, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we have to get an encroachment permit from them in order to do the work and put traffic control on Front and Myrtle. So we've been in coordination with ITD. We can after talk more about what those design looks like. What other questions?
About the alley on the other side, between Nerlex, the condos.
We're reconstructing the alley entrance, aren't we?
The alley entrance itself, the culvert goes into that alley entrance, and so there's a portion of that that's gonna have to be shut down before we do the culvert replacement.
So that, between that November and March, that alley won't be accessible.
I don't think so.
I'm just curious, I mean, our neighbors in Nerlex have vans and they, put their touring vehicles in through there, so I'm just kind of curious about how they're gonna be able to load in for concerts every night.
They could potentially access from, I don't want to commit to this until we look at it, but 12. And then come in that way and then back out.
The other issue we have is the 27-story building that's gonna start construction in May, in that parking lot on the other side, so I'm wondering how accessibility from 12th Street is gonna be available when they start that construction. So see where I'm getting at. Looks like we're, wedged in between 2 projects for about half a year, including during the holiday retail season. So
Yeah, the great part about us starting before them is that we get our traffic control plan in with ACHD. So when these other permits come in, ACHD lets us know, and then these guys are able to coordinate with them and work out, you know, like our traffic control is saying this, you guys want to do this, how can we partner together to keep those impacts to your guys' businesses mitigated and make sure everything's coordinated.
Next, we have dumpsters in that alley too that need to be, maintained on a weekly basis. So, thank you.
I have a question, I know. it's
Yes.
gonna Be a lot of construction for a while, but I answered. it, so that's good. It's not a question.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm like,
Feedback.
thank you. We're excited too, but we're, you know, biased because it's our project, but.
Just make construction a little bit prettier.
Well, we'll be around. We, I think, have the room for like another hour, so we'll be here if you guys want to come up and ask us specific questions or talk more, but otherwise, thank you again for coming out, yeah.
Thank you.
This won't be the last time you hear from us. Thank you, everyone.